Welcome to the More Life, Less Drama podcast with mindset expert and master executive coach, Prue Sulicic, who will teach you how to finish your first goal and then every goal using her simple, proven formula. If you're ready to live more life, have more fun, and reach your potential with less drama, you're in the right place.
G'day. Welcome back to another episode of More Life, Less Drama. And today, we're going to just keep it super brief. I just need to give you a reminder because I've had some conversations over the last couple of weeks, but let's be honest, my whole entire life, when it comes to people pleasing. That's what the topic is today. And I want to walk you through some statements that might show up in your life that will stop you from following through on the things that you actually want to do. And I'm just going to put this into some context for you. So when we start something big that might be different to what we've always done, like we might be a certain way, okay? Like we show up in a certain way, people perceive us in a certain way, and then you might go through a journey of some self-discovery, you might get some coaching, you might have some psychology work and therapy, and then all of a sudden you start to realize that, oh, I'm actually this way instead, and the things that I was doing in my past were all the ways that I've people pleased over the years. And as somebody that is very aware that they people please, to keep the peace, because that is my main motivation in life, is to keep the peace. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to feel included. I want everyone to just be like nice and genuine to each other. And so the way I do that is like by going along with the flow. So if you've ever done that and then all of a sudden you go through some sort of change and you're like, actually, I just want to please myself. I don't want to please everybody else because that is goddamn exhausting. And so you go through this and then you start showing up as the true self that you truly are, like your true self. And on the outside, you look different to other people. And sometimes it's a little bit unnerving for other people. Maybe it makes them feel uncomfortable, and that's totally fine. That's actually got nothing to do with you. And you keep going through the world and doing things that are a little bit different. And then something happens. Someone says something to you. And so you've decided, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And you start doing that thing. And look, it doesn't always have to be a big thing. Maybe it's some study. Maybe you decide to do a new career. And then something happens usually that, especially in these early days of being in this new nature of who you are, that somebody else's comment to you will stop you. It has happened to me a gazillion times. Like I can't tell you how many times it's happened. And I'm sure it has also happened for you. And so this episode today, I'm just going to share some categories of things, how this shows up, and help you understand that this is a normal path of growth, and for you to live in that true authenticity of yourself. This is going to happen. This is going to show up. And what my job as your coach from afar is that I want you to be prepared for it. I want you to be able to know yourself so well and catch this and be in an awareness of this. So when it actually happens, it doesn't stop you from following through on the things that you most want in your life. Because this starts from the top to the bottom. Like it can be tiny little things that seem really insignificant, and it can also be for big life-changing events as well. So let's walk through some of the examples that I've prepared, and we're going to discuss the context of how these things show up and why people do it and how it can make you feel. And again, I just want to do this so you can keep in the awareness of, okay, if this happens, this is potentially what I could do. And we'll end on that note. Okay, so here are some of the things. We're talking about in the context of our goals and our dreams. And it's when someone says something that it's often offhand, like it's just comes out of them without them even realizing it. They don't really have like a filter. So it's offhand, sometimes intentional, but most of the time unintentional, because I always think that everyone's doing the best that they can. And so that's my thought about things, but you might have a different thought. That's okay. But whether it's intentional, unintentional, what happens is that it plants a seed of doubt in your mind. And then you suddenly start questioning yourself whether that's the right way to do things, or is that you? Maybe you want to do that, maybe you don't. Who am I to think that I can do this? All those great self-doubting thoughts that come up in your own mind. So here are some relatable examples of things people might say that make you doubt yourself. Okay, the first category is the subtle dream killer comments. Okay, so just listen out for these because you might be very familiar with them. And they come across as things like this. Are you sure that's a good idea? They like question you. And then there's another one that says, I mean, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? Like, it's just like an offhand comment that just puts that seed of doubt in your mind. And there's always that person, they have the best interest of your life at the forefront of their mind. And they might say things like, I just don't want to see you get disappointed. And that just plants the seed of doubt. And it comes from such a nice place that you forget that that's what it's doing, and you think that they're looking out for you. But what it does plant that seed of doubt, and it just makes you pause and hesitate and possibly second guess yourself about the dreams that you actually want to go after. The second category is the I know you better than you know yourself comments. And we all know these ones. So you offer them a goal that you're going after. And they might say something back to you that's something like, that's just not really you though, is it? And they like pose that question back to you like, don't know yourself as much as I know you. And that is definitely not you. But remember, you do know yourself better than anybody else. And it's up to you. It's like your job in the world to go after what you want because of your dreams and the things that you want to show up for. So again, casts that seed of doubt in your own mind. Something else that they could say is something like, I just don't think that's your thing. And then you get to questioning like, maybe it's not my thing. Like, I've never done that before in the past. Why would I want to do that now? Or you've never been good at sticking with things. They just might make a blanket statement about you. And again, you're like, oh, actually, no, I haven't ever followed through with anything. So why would that be any different? And you're like, yeah, I suppose that's right. Like, it's not really my thing, and I've never really followed through with anything like that before. So I'm not going to start now. So again, it stops you. So those type of I know you better than you know yourself comments just have you wondering, are they right? Can I not be different? Is it impossible to change? Okay, so that's what those sort of comments really do to you in those moments. Then the third category is the I'm just being realistic comments. We all have that realistic friend or parent or person in our life that just likes to lay it out like it's the facts about life. And again, plants the seed of doubt about yourself and about the things that you actually want to go after. They start off a sentence like this. I'm not trying to be negative, but, okay? When anybody says but after I'm not trying to be something, please know that there's a little red flag being waved around. And then they also say things like, you need to be realistic. Like, life doesn't really work like that. And you're like, oh, of course. Like, no, it doesn't. I know that sentence or that common belief about if it's too good to be true, then usually it is comment. Like, that gets me every single time. It really stops me in my tracks, even though I have a really strong conviction for the thing that I'm doing. Another one that could be, like, I'm just being realistic comment is, I just don't want to see you waste your time. So maybe you're studying something new and maybe you're going to like spend money on a degree and you want to go after a job, and then someone's like, yeah, but I don't really want you to waste your time or your money on this because, hey, like, you're not usually the person that follows through. So just allow these to sink in and see where these comments are coming up in your life as well. Someone else might also say, you don't want to embarrass yourself, do you? And really what they mean is they don't want you to embarrass them. Maybe they're associated with you in some way, and it's like, yeah, look, I wouldn't do that because I'd be totally embarrassed, and they project their embarrassment onto you. That's another great one. So these always sound like helpful advice. So anything that sounds helpful to you, but also makes you feel that the seed of doubt being planted, it's just dressed up fear. Just know it's not your fear, it's their fear usually, and they're just dressing it up and projecting out their fear onto you. So it's often their own limiting beliefs that they're trying to project onto you. Then category number 4 is the subtle comparison comments. Or these are really interesting because they can also be their own fear projected onto you. But the comparison comments can sound something like this. Oh, my friend tried that and it didn't work for her. Or I know someone that did that, but they had way more experience. Or that's great, but don't expect too much. Or the last one is, it's just really competitive. Like, you have to be really good at that. And it's like, yeah, why can't I be good at that? But again, plant the seeds of doubt, and that comparison seed that they're planting inside you, that potentially that you're not good enough or not experienced enough. And what they don't realize is that you don't need their permission to go after your dreams. It's everybody's experience to have the experience of their own life, and they don't need the opinion of them and their own fears to go after what they want to go after. Then there's the greatest comment of all, which is the last category, and it's category number 5, which is the guilt tripping comments. So this one hits hard because it traps you into your own guilt. And look, I know if you're a woman particularly, not dismissing that men don't have guilt here, but if you're a woman, particularly a mother, we carry a lot of guilt already. We're not doing things well enough or as great as we could be. We're failing at everything type of thoughts already going on in our head. So when someone plants the seed of guilt and these guilt tripping comments come up, it just doesn't take long to like catch on into our bodies, and then our brains are just like scrambled and we try to people please. And before you know it, you're putting yourself last again and making sure that everybody else is happy. So let's go through these few comments that could potentially come up and be under the category of guilt tripping comments. So you've been spending a lot of time on that. Don't forget about us. Okay, so that might be a partner or a family member that says that when you're like, you know what, I'm doing this study, it's going to take me like 40 hours a week to do this, so I'm going to be locked in my office, I'm going to be doing the work, please don't disturb me. And they're like, yeah, you've been spending a lot of time on that, don't forget about us. They might also say things like, you're so busy these days, remember when you used to have time for whatever the activity was that you used to have time for? Must be nice to be able to do that. Some of us just don't have the luxury. And that one hits me home because I'm like, oh God, yeah, of course, like so many people don't have the luxury of time or money or whatever it is, support to do the things that you want to do. And therefore you're like, oh, that's right, I shouldn't really be doing that. That's really selfish. Someone else might say to you, I wish I had time to do things like that. And it's like, oh God, yeah, I know. Again, grateful for my time, but now I feel really bad that I've got time and you don't have time. The last one is, you're lucky that you get to focus on yourself. Nice, thanks. That guilt trip hits home well and truly, for sure. So they are the 5 types of comments that people can say to you when you're doing something new, when you're becoming the different person that you've always been, and you're like navigating how to be different inside yourself as well as on the surface, and everybody's witnessing the change in you. And then you decide to do something, and then people give these comments to you. Again, they might be unintentional, but they also might be slightly intentional depending on the person. And I just want you to be aware that people are just doing their best. That is my belief. Again, adopt it if you will. And you always get to choose how you react to things, and it doesn't always have to be that you stop chasing those dreams, that you stop being the person that you really want to be just to people please and make these people around you feel comfortable. It's the last thing that I want for you. And so let's do a quick recap. There were the subtle dream killing comments like, oh, you're always starting something new, but what's the difference this time? Or the I know you better than you know yourself comments. You're not really the type of person that does that. Or the I'm just being realistic comments, like it's just the truth. I just don't want to see you waste your time. Okay. The subtle comparison comments, which is, oh, my friend did that, it just didn't work for her. Or the guilt tripping comments, which is the last one, which is, I wish I had time to do things like that, or spend time on things for myself. And remember, I'm sharing these with you so you can prepare yourself for when you are growing and changing and evolving. People are just going to be people, and they're going to show up with their own fears and their own limiting beliefs and ideas about what you can do. And you get to decide that you can still follow through with things while still being in these people's lives. Like, I'm not saying that you need to shut everybody out. That's not what I'm saying. But I just want you to be aware of how comments can make you react to things. And the most common way that we react to things is to stop doing them. So it stops the comments coming in. Because the more that you're stretching yourself, the more comments come in. It's just like simple math. So be prepared. The more that you stretch and the more that you grow, the more comments like that you will have. So I'm going to list all these comments in the show notes so you can actually read through one at a time. I would love to hear your examples of comments that have happened to you over the course of your life while you're going through something like this. And so we can just, banter on it and just get to know how else they show up in the world. The reason I talk about this is so you do follow through on what's really important to you. And I don't want you to let someone else's doubt or their fear stop you from following through on something that really matters to you. And that's why I have a free masterclass that I've created that I'm inviting you to. In this masterclass, it's called Follow Through on What Matters, even when you feel unmotivated. I'm going to show you exactly why you get stuck and how to finally finish what you start, even with those comments flowing in and you being just in the world with other people, without needing to rely on motivation or permission from others. So Follow Through on What Matters, even when you feel unmotivated masterclass is happening next week. I've got 4 dates to choose from, so you've got a range of options. And if you attend live, I'm actually giving the live attendees a really special bonus, something that is really quite connected to this episode. So I would love to see you there live. I would love to give you this bonus because it's going to be really helpful for your mind and for you to practice being in the energy that you want to be in. And yeah, I just look forward to seeing you there. Okay, my friends, I hope this podcast has been helpful and I will talk to you soon. If not, I will see you inside the masterclass. Okay, bye-bye.